Okay. So, welcome to all of you. This is the first episode of monthly webinar from Insecsys Private Limited platform. And Mr. Sitansu is our guest today. He is a technology and cloud transformation leader. He was a global cybersecurity architect in OpenText. He has more than 19 years of experience in cybersecurity industry. So today we are talking about service organization control, why nowadays it's important to IT industries, what are the types and how to get satisfied. So these all things we are discussing here. So over to you, sir. Please start.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohi, for your warm introduction. And if you can just make this full screen now.
Yes.
Just a couple of housekeeping announcements. During this session, we'll be welcome to take your questions related to the subject. Please post your questions at any time through the chat window, and I'll try to address most of them as and when possible, when it is relevant. And if any question remains unaddressed, definitely we can have your answers circulated through to it. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Once again, warm welcome to everyone. This Saturday afternoon, you all have taken time to join this webinar. I really appreciate the effort, and thanks Insecsys team to organize this webinar. Today's topic, which I have been invited to speak on, is Service Organization Control Type 2. I have been a practitioner in the industry for the last 18 plus years, where I have donned multiple hats in cybersecurity industry. Have been into different roles and responsibilities, worked with a few of the noted organizations as a Reliance, British Telecom, Fujitsu, Bank of America, Credit Suisse. And lastly, I was with OpenText before getting associated with Insecsys. So with that, what is SOC? When we say SOC, it's Service Organization Control. Service Organization Control is a suite of service offering and an attestation being granted by certified public accountants associated with American Institute of Certified Public Accountant in US. It provides an attestation in connection with system level controls for a service organization or entity level control for other organizations. This service organization control is required for every service organization, and we categorize service organization in any organization which is providing services to another organization or to end user is classified as service organization. The service organization control reporting are of three types. SOC 1, that reports on control at a service organization that may be relevant to user entities. Enter control over financial reporting. SOC 2, it is based out of 5 trust service criteria. The report is based on existing system trust and web trust principles. The purpose of SOC 2 report is to evaluate an organization's information system relevant to security, availability, processing integrity, and confidentiality. And lately, the 5th trust service criteria, that's privacy. SOC 3 is a general usage report which can be published and made publicly available for consumers and prospective clients to consume, which is based on existing system trust, web trust principles. However, this report will not have details and of any testing which has been performed to assess the effectiveness of the report. This is something which can be used as a marketing material by the sales and go-to-market team. Now, this SOC certification are of also 3 types. SOC 1, type 1, SOC 2, type 1, SOC 3, type 1. Similarly, SOC 1, type 2, SOC 2, type 2, SOC 3, type 2, and SOC 1, type 3, SOC 2, type 3, SOC 3, type 3. Now, what are these 3 types? The type 1 only talks about the design control of a particular process in the organization, how the controls are designed and defined in the organization. Wherein SOC 2, type 2, is more focused towards the operating effectiveness of that particular control which has been defined or deployed. Type 3 is again, as we discussed in the nature, it is more of providing a glimpse and can be used as a promotional content. This framework is primarily based on the 5 trust service criteria, which I'll be again and again pointing it out because these are the core, and this framework is developed by AICPA to assess the report and assess and report on the controls for the service organizations. SOC 2 is a framework that allows service organizations to demonstrate their commitment towards all the 5 trust service criteria. It helps organizations identify and mitigate risk while providing transparency and assurance in an increasingly data-driven environment. The purpose of getting service organization control certification is to provide adequate assurance for customers about their data custodian, risk mitigation inside the organization, and for the service delivery of client. Adherence of compliance. It also provides competitive advantage to the service organization to stand out from the herd being SOC 2 compliant. It also helps the end customer organizations in choosing the right vendor. As soon as the vendor is SOC 2 certified, SOC 2 attested, it really makes organizations more comfortable towards awarding any service contract to such organizations. And also this is going to be a continuous improvement cycle for both service organization and as well as the consumer, because he is always getting an attestation on annual basis that the implemented controls are being effectively working in that organization. This is a type of post-period audit. So there are 2 types of audit. One is point in time, where we do the audit right when we are doing it. It's on a specific date. We have tested such controls and we found it working effectively, which is ISO 27001 or PCI-DSS. These are just in time. However, SOC 2 is a post-period audit. So we perform the audit and ensure the effectiveness of the controls during the laid down period, which again attests one thing, that you cannot really go in the past and make things workable. So this is a very important aspect of this post-period audit. Whatever has happened, it is being audited on that. And if there has been any qualification, it will be highlighted. So that increases and enhances the trust quotient for the customers and the people who are consuming this software. Thank you. What are these trust service criteria? Report on controls at a service organization relevant to security, availability, process integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. These reports are intended to meet the needs of broad range of users that needs detailed information and assurance about the controls at a service organization relevant to security and all other trust principles, users to process users' data, and ensure privacy and information processed by these systems. These reports can play an important role in provide an adequate oversight of the organization to manage the third-party vendor management programs efficiently. Internal corporate governance and risk management processes will be streamlined and also provides a regulatory oversight of the organization. Thank you. The trust service principles we have talked umpteen times by now. And again, once again, I'm going to define this. Security. The system is protected both logically and physically against unauthorized access. The system is available for operations and used as committed or agreed to. That's availability. System processing is complete, accurate, timely, and authorized. That's part of processing integrity. Information that is designed and classified as confidential is protected as committed or agreed as per the laid down procedures or the policy which has been laid down at a corporate level. Privacy. Personal information is corrected, used, retained, and disclosed in conformity with the commitments in the entity's privacy notice, with the privacy principles put forth by American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Now, privacy was not very important few years ago. And many of the organizations used to get their processes audited on only 4 trust principles. However, with increasing awareness and privacy regulations being formed all across the globe, now even in India, we have Personal Data Protection Act, which is enacted, and we expect the notification to be coming in very soon. So I'm again putting emphasis that the 5th trust principle, which is privacy, also must be focused now by the service organizations, and they must include this 5th trust service criteria for their next round of certification. Sure. The trust service principle which SOC 2 is based upon are modeled around 4 broad areas: policies, communications, procedures, and monitoring. Each of these principles have defined criteria, controls, which must be met and demonstrate adherence of the principles and produce an unqualified opinion without any significant exception found during the audit. When we say unqualified opinion, it means all the controls are effectively working as expected. There has been no deviations as such. Whenever there is a qualification in terminology of service organization control, these qualifications are basically the lacunae identified by the auditor during the audit process. How do we prepare for SOC? Now, and we have talked about who are service organizations, why they should go for SOC. How do we prepare for it? Should we build in-house capability? Should we hire a consultant? Should we go through a third-party vendor to get this enablement. So preparing for SOC 2 compliance involves a comprehensive, structured process to ensure your organization meets the necessary trust service criteria. And ideally, to start with, it should be started with a gap assessment of the actual posture and current status of the organization in order to determine and devise a plan to elevate the organization's standard to be compliant with service organization control. We need to thoroughly go through the documentation and the policies for the different procedures, processes across the organization. There should be a thorough risk assessment done, highlighting the business risk, technology risk, and risks based on all these trust service criteria. There should be a comprehensive training and awareness program which should be launched org-wide to ensure inclusiveness and effective compliance in the organization. There are two types of report. As we said, there are three types of report. So primarily, type 3 is not being discussed a lot. So we'll go through type 1 report. Type 1 report is management's description of service organization, system, and suitability of the design of controls. Uses of such reports are restricted in nature. It can be shared with your customers based on contractual agreement. The type 2 report goes as level up. A part of the suitability of design, it also tests the operating effectiveness of those controls in the organization. So that makes this SOC 2 report, SOC 2 type 2 report, a very authentic one in terms of giving customers confidence. It evaluates the controls and processes over extended period of time. So over a period, the period could be defined, usually organizations go annually. However, it can be done for a smaller or a bigger team as well. More thorough than a type 1 report, it carries more weight and more confidence of client. It also requires, type 2 report also requires more time because we will be assessing the control effectiveness over a period of time. So there will be multiple time points which an auditor can request and sample. Sure. What are the components of SOC 2 report? A service auditor's report will have 5 classes where customer has laid down and talked about its set procedures. Then the auditor forms different controls based on that definition. And in the third section, where we talk about control effectiveness. And in the last and fifth section, auditor provides his observation, which is generic in nature, and also advisory towards next course of action towards continuous improvement. Okay. What are the benefits of attaining SOC 2 compliance? Achieving SOC 2 compliance offers several significant benefits to service organization. These benefits extend to both organization itself and its customer and partners. Some key advantages to it is enhanced data security, which is the prime concern of any service organization and their customers. Based on this enhanced data security, it enhances the customer's trust and confidence of the organization to deliver services to the customers. It also provides competitive advantage over the industry peers and competition based on your attestation and certification. It also reduces operational and technology risk of the organization, gives a clear insight, and then definitely we can devise a plan to improve on. Customer retention is another key, because you are SOC 2 compliant, the data is in safe hands, the processes are thoroughly laid out and being adhered, that enhances and boosts the customer retention. Data availability and reliability. As it is one of the trust services criteria. So availability and reliability is enhanced. Continuous improvement, as auditors will always keep advising and suggesting how to improve and enhance the processes. So it's a part of continuous improvement. So this brings me to a conclusive statement. SOC 2 is an attestation done by a CPA towards your system, organization, and controls framed around it, along with the processes. It provides an opinion of the effectiveness of service organization control, highlights deficiencies and weaknesses, and offer recommendations for improvement. It serves as a valuable tool for service organization to demonstrate their commitment towards security and compliance to customers, partners, and other stakeholders. It also is one of the very sought after compliance requirement these days for any third-party service provider. So any organization which is providing any sort of technological services, be it service delivery, be it SaaS-based, be it application-based, all organizations must go through this attestation process. With this, I'll open up for any question and answers, questions, and I'd definitely like to answer those questions. I don't see anything in chat window. Rui, if you can help me out, if you have any questions.
Yes, sir. Can you tell me, sir, if SOC 2 is a certification?
So, yes, very good question, Rui. SOC 2 is an attestation. Now, certification, attestation, and standards. There are these three primary categorization of certifications. And fourth is, so when we say standards, NIST cybersecurity framework is a standard. We can adhere to those standards. COBIT is a standard.
So what is the basically difference between attestation and certification?
Yes, that's where I'm coming to. Right? Then there is a certification, which happens where there is a laid down items defined by a governing body like ISO or PCI. They have laid down a set of controls which you must meet in order to get certified. So that's a certification. Then the third category, which is attestation, where SOC 2 falls in. Here, you lay down your procedures. You disclose that these are my procedures, these are my controls, based on which the auditor will come and define controls and then test your organization's process implementation, technology implementation on the 5 trust service criteria and ensure that it is being met as per the applicability of report type 1 or type 2. Now, attestation is being done based on your declaration. So this gives a liberty to organization to choose what I'm going to implement, what I have implemented. This does not hard codes any control requirement for the organization. However, the trust service criteria are defined, and it has to be in accordance to that. Usually, the number of controls vary between 60 to 150 and somewhere in between for a typical service organization serving different clients. Hope I was able to answer and clarify your
Yes, sir.
doubts.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question.
Any other question?
Yes, sir. How do we prepare for SOC 2?
So, SOC 2 preparation, as I explained, we must start with a gap assessment. In case organization is already certified with ISO or any other compliances, this will help organization to a certain extent in terms of defining and framing the controls. However, if not, in that case, you can engage a consultant who can help you define controls, elevate your organization's processes and control implementations to the level where you can get compliant and get attestation. And these attestation are typically happening on annual basis. However, it can be done for a minimum period of 3 months as well.
Sir, one more question. Can we publish SOC 2 report publicly?
So yes, SOC 2 Type 3 report can be published. Rest Type 1 and Type 2 reports are confidential in nature. It can only be shared with someone where we are contractually obligated.
Okay, thank you, sir. You have explained very well. Once again, thank you for your valuable time and knowledgeable thoughts about service organization control. Thanks a lot, sir. And thank you everyone for joining. And have a great rest of the day. Thank you to all of you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohi, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day ahead. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Signing off for the day.